Dr. Adrian Langston was more than respected. He was revered. A pioneer in chronic pain treatment, a man patients begged to see. But no one knew what really happened behind the doors of exam room 4. Dr. Langston's clinic didn't look like a place of horror. Clean, modern, peaceful. And yet, people walked in and never quite came out the same. Victims included a mother of 3 who became catatonic within days of her treatment, a college athlete who vanished weeks after his 3rd appointment, a man who was found dead in a hotel room, surrounded by labeled syringes. Each had seen Langston. None had records of their sessions. All were suffering from invisible pain. No one listened. Pain is subjective, and that's what made them the perfect prey. Iris Bellamy, an independent journalist whose sister, Ray, had been under Langston's care. Ray had struggled with trauma-induced pain for years. Langston offered hope. Within a month, Ray stopped returning calls. Then she was gone. Just gone. Iris requested Ray's medical records. The clinic said they had none. No such patient. But Iris had an old voicemail. Ray had described something strange. Being asked to relive pain memories while under sedation. She said she could hear other people screaming in nearby rooms. When Iris tried to enter the clinic, she was stopped by private security. The receptionist said, "Dr. Langston no longer sees family members." Iris hacked into the clinic's Wi-Fi from her car and intercepted files being uploaded to an offshore server. One stood out, MKF, full psychogenic sequence. A video. It showed her sister, strapped to a medical chair, electrodes attached. Langston speaking softly, "You have to feel it to destroy it. We record the fear, encode it, transmit it. We turn pain into power." The screen flashed biometric readings, brain waves, heart rate, and something called echo mapping. The implication: Langston wasn't treating pain. He was recording it, programming it. Then came the final shot. Ray's eyes fluttering, her lips moving. He's not working alone. Ray Bellamy was missing, presumed dead. But now her sister Iris had proof. A video of her strapped to a chair in Dr. Langston's clinic. And a chilling clue: he wasn't working alone. With help from a cybersecurity contact, Iris decrypted more of Langston's files. He kept detailed logs, not about treatments but about emotional states, pain levels, memory trauma, responses to certain words, smells, and sounds. He wasn't a healer. He was a collector. One document was titled, Echo Trial, Subject RB004, Breakthrough. Iris recognized the initials, RB Ray Bellamy. Langston wrote, "Pain is the fingerprint of the soul. Trauma is the access key. If I can isolate the echo, I can control the entire memory cycle and possibly overwrite it." Then came the most chilling entry. Subject RB004 exhibited resistance. Began accessing others' pain. Mirror effect. Unexpected. Possibly inherited. Iris traced Langston's background. Most believed he was a prodigy, med school at 19, published by 22 Stanford Fellowship. But the truth was buried. His real name was Adrian Foster, and as a child, he had been institutionalized at age 8 following the murder-suicide of his parents. His father, a psychiatrist, had subjected Adrian to years of illegal trauma exposure experiments. One paper, buried in an old university archive, was signed Dr. Franklin Foster, Adrian's father. Title: Trauma Transference and Psychic Imprinting in Children with High Empathic Indexes. The subject? F01. Adrian himself. Langston hadn't just inherited pain. He'd been designed to replicate it. And now he was passing it on. Iris located a former nurse from Langston's clinic, Elena Ruiz, now living under a false identity. Terrified, paranoid, but willing to talk. She said the patients weren't dying. They were being erased. Langston used them to harvest trauma, signatures, fragments of emotional pain. He believed if you collected enough echoes, you could build a perfect emotional profile and implant it into someone else. "He thinks pain is divine," Elena said. He thinks it can resurrect the dead. She handed Iris a USB. On it, patient profiles, including one marked RB000. Not Ray. Their mother. Their mother, Marlene Bellamy, had died by suicide when Iris was 3 and Ray was 10, or so they were told. But the file showed Marlene as a long-term echo subject. The footage was brutal. Marlene strapped down, weeping. Langston's voice behind the camera. Ray carries the imprint. But the younger one, Iris, she's the clean slate, the pure vessel. Ray wasn't just a victim. She volunteered to protect Iris. Iris, shattered, traced the location of the experimental facility where the echo sequences were stored. It wasn't some secret lab in the woods. It was inside the psychiatric wing of a government-funded trauma research center in Maryland. And the listed clinical director? Not Langston. Dr. Mira Caldwell, a trauma specialist Iris had seen as a teenager. The same woman who comforted her after Ray disappeared. Langston was the surgeon. But Caldwell? She was the architect. And Ray may still be alive. Dr. Adrian Langston may have been the monster in the room, but the blueprint came from somewhere else. Iris Bellamy was no longer chasing one killer. She was stepping into a system designed to erase pain by breaking people. The Trauma Research Center in Maryland looked ordinary, high-security, clean, clinical. But behind its locked doors, in a sub-basement labeled Storage B, Iris found something horrifying. 37 patients, sedated, each one strapped to a chair, headsets on, electrodes embedded directly into their skulls. On a monitor, the word synchronizing pulsed in red. One of the patients, Ray, alive, but unresponsive, frozen mid-expression, lips parted, as if caught between memory and nightmare. A technician saw Iris, but instead of alerting security, he whispered, "They're trying to make gods out of grief." In a hidden lab file labeled Archive 0, Caldwell, Iris discovered everything. The echo trials were never about healing. Caldwell's theory: if trauma could be quantified and harvested, it could be injected into others, creating empathy, obedience, or even artificial identities. Langston was simply the surgeon. Caldwell was the program director. Her goal? The reconstruction of identity through pain transfer. A blueprint for mind control through suffering. But worse, Ray hadn't been taken. She volunteered. In an encrypted video message left for Iris, Ray spoke from a hospital bed. "If you're seeing this, I didn't make it. But it was me. My choice. They wanted you, Iris. Your mind. It's untouched. Untangled. That's what Langston needed to finish his theory. But I offered them me. Because I remember Mom. I remember what they did to her. I remember everything." Iris collapsed in tears. Her sister had thrown herself into the machine so Iris could live untouched. But Caldwell wasn't finished. Caldwell arrived. Calm. Unbothered. Adrian was brilliant but unstable. I gave him a purpose. He just wanted to cut. I wanted to build. Iris demanded Ray's release. Caldwell smiled. "Ray is the system now. She is the map. You can destroy the hardware, but she's encoded in every sequence. And Iris, so are you." And then Caldwell played the final card. A brain scan. Subject ID, IB000. Iris Bellamy. "You were our control group, dear. We've been observing you since you were 12. You've never been free." Iris did the unthinkable. She uploaded every file, every unethical trial, every recorded trauma to a public server. Then she set the facility on fire. The screams from the machines sounded human. Or maybe they were. Authorities arrived too late. Ray's body was never found. Langston was presumed dead. Caldwell vanished. And Iris? She disappeared into the wind, her voice narrating one final, haunting message. They say pain makes us stronger. But if you hurt someone enough, you can make them into anything. Patient, a weapon, or a ghost.